Kristina, and today I'm going to tell you guys why we should help the starving children around the world. And if you can remember a time when you were hungry, that you would categorize yourself as starving, whether it be you're sitting in a class and it's like time's just standing still, or you're at a restaurant and the food just can't get to the table quick enough. Well, luckily for many of us, food's always available, but for many children around the world, they'd be lucky to even come across a few breadcrumbs in any given day. And to me, it's just really sad to think about these young children holding their hands out to their parents in need of food, and all their parents can do is turn away and cry because they're unable to provide their children with the nourishments that they need for survival. And so this is basically what starvation is, when you lack the nutrients you need for survival. And so while starvation is worldwide, there's no doubt about it, it's mainly pertinent in third world countries such as India, Africa, Indonesia, and Pakistan. And this is because India houses 50% of the world's starving people, Africa and the rest of Asia combined house the other 40%, and the last 10% are found in Latin America and then other parts of the world. And this is why I believe that starvation is a major issue in the world, and it should be addressed right alongside global warming and the war on terror. And so today, to further persuade you on why we should help starving children around the world, I will first tell you why people are starving, the effects of starvation, the viewpoints on this issue, and lastly, ways we can help the children. Now first, why are people starving? There are many reasons that people are starving, the first being climate change. And this is because with an increase in temperature comes a decrease in rainfall. And many of these countries rely on farming to provide their families with the necessary food for survival. And so when rainfall is cut to a minimum, the lands become more and more dry, and these families are unable to provide the crops that they need for survival. A next reason is the lack of technology. And many of these third world countries don't have the necessary agricultural technology such as irrigation systems to counter the effects of climate change. And so this can lead to famine, which is a severe shortage of food, and that goes hand in hand with starvation. Our last reason that people are starving is due to population growth. And many of these countries are already overly populated, and with many new babies being born, that just adds to the number of mouths to feed, and food, an already scarce resource, becomes even more scarce. Now, our second point, the effects of starvation. And starvation affects both the body and behavior. And the first issue of the first thing that starvation affects is the nervous system. And this causes many children to be born with mental retardation. Starvation then affects the immune system, which causes the body to become unable to fight diseases or repair wounds. And the most common disease that many of these children have is called kwashiorkor disease. And this causes stunted growth, a skinny child, and the protruding stomach. The next body effect that starvation has is low metabolism. And this causes many children to lose the fat under their skin. And so when we look at them, and it's almost like we're staring at their bones, it's basically because we are. And the effects of starvation on behavior is that it causes many of these children to lack the ability to concentrate because they're always thinking about food. It also makes them very depressed and then leads to making them antisocial. The third point for today is the viewpoints on the issue. And many people don't understand the severity of starvation because us living in America, when we walk out of our doors, we don't see the children looking like they do in Africa. So we don't really think it's that big of a deal. But in fact it is. As Diane Sawyer did a segment entitled Hidden America, The Starving Children of the Mountains, in which she went to the poverty-infested area of the Appalachian Mountains and found that many children were living 12 to a house with less than butter and ranch in the fridge. And so it really is close to home. And after knowing this, many people just say, well, why should I have to give up my luxuries to help these starving children? And that's really not the case, because by simply donating $20 a month or a couple of cans of food, you can make such a difference in one of these children's lives. And so this is why when I hear statistics such as every 3.6 seconds someone dies of hunger, and every year 15 billion children die of starvation, it's just sad because the United States is an economic powerhouse. And so it's just sad that we only donate less than 0.2% of our GDP to foreign aid versus other countries such as Sweden, Denmark, and Netherlands who donate 0.6 and 0.8% of their GDP to foreign aid. And so because we refuse to donate more, it causes 1 in 4 people to live on less than $1 a day for survival. this is a major issue, and so this is why I believe that we could solve starvation, because it's not like we lack the ability to equally distribute food. We just don't have the motivation to do so, because it's a known fact that starvation could be cured with $13 billion, which is the amount of money Americans and Europeans spend on perfume in a year. Our last point is ways we can help the children. And we can help these children by donating food to to organizations such as Feed the Children, World Vision, and free rice programs. We can also sponsor a child through the Children Incorporated program. And lastly, we can cut back on the cost of war. And this is because for the price that it costs to make one missile, we could feed the starving children in one school for 5 years. And also, with 2 days worth of military money, we could cure starvation in the world. And so I just believe that it's our obligation to help these starving children around the world. And so now that you know why people are starving, the effects of starvation, viewpoints on this issue, and ways we can help the children, I believe that we should just sacrifice a little bit of what we have to make a difference in what is life or death for some of these children. Thank you.
You guys have any questions?